Ooh.
Here we go. There is Charlene. First on my screen. Good morning. So there should be more than 3. There should be about 117 more than 3. Ah, there we are.
They can't see that, only you can see.
So do I get pictures of them all?
There's time lag.
It's a time lag, okay. So here we got Bodanandi, who I can't see any of you yet, but I'm just looking at names. So Bodanandi. Hi, hope all's well in Brighton. Chandrachita, probably in Dublin. Janapalata, who's Vajraloka. Good morning. Guhyadipti, hello to you in Germany. Satyanandi, who I can actually see. Hi. Hi in Cambridge. So there's a bit of a lag on the screen. So I've just got some names, but I've hardly got any pictures of you all. Who else have we got? Alia Shudachita, you've just appeared. Good morning to you. Can people hear me? There's no responses.
Ask them if they can hear you, and they'll put their fingers up there,
Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you, Vessantara.
Thank you.
Vessantara.
And can see everybody, actually. Lots more people than you can see.
Okay. Yes, I've got 5 people that I can see, including Prasadadeepa and Padmotara. Good morning.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, and I have a sense of you all out there. I can feel your auras around the world.
And the 5 that you can see, are they at the top of your screen?
They're in different places in my screen. Right. It looks like some kind of sort of Rubik's Cube thing that I should be able to sort of shift around and turn into some wonderful mosaic or something.
Right, yeah, okay.
Good morning.
I've just got 5 at the top and I can click arrows, but yours is obviously very different.
No, mine's not like that. No. And Yamai, hi.
Okay.
So I've got 4 screens worth, so that's probably about right. On the last retreat, we had 135 of us, but we never got beyond, I think, 99 in a session, mainly because we were spread all around the world. So some people were always asleep at the time. So I don't know how long to wait until I can sort of see more of you. Give it another minute or so just to play around.
It might be, you might see more people with just the one down the edge and moving through it.
We can try that.
Would you like me to try that?
Yeah. So I've got Vijayamala here doing some tech for me. So.
No, you can't.
Okay.
Yeah, they're coming back there. You can screen through there, turn that.
Yeah, it's just as slow. Okay, I think, just trying a different way to see whether I can see more of you. I don't think I can at the moment.
It might be because you're pinned.
No, it isn't. It's just
Apparently not.
I think it's because you're spotlighted. Hello, it's Prasada Bajri.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm spotlighted.
it's
No.
no, because we can put it on gallery view, but oops, it still won't show people.
I think you need to put it on gallery view and undo pin.
Ah, that's okay. Adhisthana, can you undo pin for us for a minute or two?
Yep.
Uh-huh. I've currently got Adhisthana and Dublin. Oh, and Cambridge. Okay, I think we'll start anyway, because
Say, we think it's your internet connection is just meaning that you're not loading the videos, but
yeah,
we can see everybody and everyone's coming through quite clearly. So maybe it might improve as the day goes on if your internet connection gets a bit better, but we can hear you.
let's see how we do. Okay, yeah, as long as you can see me and hear me, we're in business. So yes, even though I can't see you, I'm feeling yeah, very, very happy to be in contact with you all. And it's great that we've got 120 of us around the world. Yeah, from New Zealand to the States. So wherever you are, welcome. Some of you may not be watching this live, particularly if there is anyone watching from the States, then sadhu, because it's about 5 in the morning in New York and about 2 in the morning in San Francisco. But yeah, whether you're watching live or recorded, I'm really pleased that we're coming together for this 6-day event. You kind of see that I'm not at Adhisthana. That's because in the UK, we're back in COVID lockdown for 4 weeks. And although I'm only a few minutes drive away, the government is encouraging us to work from home where we can. So this is me working from home. But we do have an amazing tech team at Adhisthana, plus a satellite in Oxford at the moment. Oh no, you've moved, haven't you? There's Ben, who's part of the tech team, but is isolating. So yeah, I've got an embarrassment of riches in terms of tech. So I'm just going to invite those of you at Adhisthana who are going to be looking after us over these 6 days, just to introduce yourselves, so we know who's looking after us and we know who to feel grateful to. So over to you.
Hello, my name is James.
I'm not a tech. Don't trust me with anything. I'm leading your morning meditations here at Adhisthana. So I'm Yasho Deva. And I'll be including a little reading from Sangharakshita after we chant the 2 Latin Abandona. Looking forward to seeing you all each morning.
Great.
Hi everyone, I'm Caroline.
Hi, I'm Rochani, and I'm as well in training, so as Veshudeva, don't trust me.
Hey, I'm Lizzie. I'm also helping with the tech. Yep.
And Ben?
And I'm Ben. I'm normally based in Oxford, but I'm staying at Adhisthana for a few weeks during lockdown. And
Great.
I'll be helping out during the week.
Excellent. So all this is happening under the auspices of Adhisthana. And I'll just mention now that it's also a Dana event, and we hope that as on the last retreat, we'll raise a good amount of money for Adhisthana, who are not getting that much in these days with COVID, and no large order weekends, no big retreats, anything like that. So it'd be really great if we can help them out a bit. So I'm at my place, which, as I said, is about 5 minutes drive away from Adhisthana. Moved here about a year ago, and I've got Vijayamala, who is helping me out with tech, and who is going to make a quick appearance. Go on.
Hello, I'm in training too.
Yes. So we aim to have the recordings of these sessions available within half an hour of the end of the live session, which means that if you can't watch lives, you'll be able to get it really quickly. I mentioned we've got all these different time zones. I think we span about 19 of the 24 hours in the day, sort of around the world. And it's great that in Australia and New Zealand, Dharmananda and Birya Siddhi are kind of convening the sort of local order group there. And so you'll be doing your own groups in your own time. So the program you should all have. So I'm not going to talk much in terms of times or mornings or afternoons, because it just completely confused everyone on the last retreat. So there'll be session 1, which if you're in the UK will be the early morning meditation, which is the one that Yashadeva is going to lead from Adhisthana. So that will be chanting and reading, and then double meditation unled. So it's just a chance to join the Adhisthana community for that meditation. And then session 2, which is this time, will be a teaching session. So it'll be some teaching, some guided meditation, 2 hours with a break in the middle. Session 3 we'll start with groups. So we'll have groups of 4, and after that, which there'll be just half an hour, and after that we'll do some meditation, maybe some days something more devotional. So today, if you're coming to the groups, please make sure to come a little bit early, because we'll assign the groups at 4 o'clock GMT, our time, sharp. Because if people join later, it's quite difficult to then sort of add them into groups. So if you can make sure to be there, a few minutes early today, that would be really helpful. And then the fourth session at 8 p.m. my time will be another teaching session for an hour. So we're doing it like that because since the clocks have changed, the timings for different parts of the world are actually a bit harder. So it's good if we can give everyone some kind of chance of getting to a live session each day. So that's most of the announcements. If you have technical questions, then you can message the tech team. And if you have Dharma questions, you can message Vessantara, sort of private message, and Vijayamala will pick those up and I'll get them that way. If you want to get a more kind of considered answer, then you can also send me an email to vessantara@outlook.com. Could we put that in the chat, please? So it's vessantara@outlook.com. Just put question in the subject line. And on the last retreat, we got quite a lot of questions, and I gradually worked through them. But if you do it like that, it just gives me a little bit more time to give you a good answer than you might get just off the cuff. Okay, so that's probably enough to get us up and running. And yeah, I'm sitting here, as you'll see, with Avalokiteshvara, four-armed Avalokiteshvara, holding the wish-fulfilling gem of the bodhicitta. And this retreat stands alone, but it's also a follow-on from the one that a lot of us were on recently, on the bodhicitta practice. And in this retreat, we're going to continue with bodhicitta, and we'll pick up some of the themes from last time, including some of the practices, like we'll do more Tonglen, giving and receiving. But this is, if you like, symbolically moving from developing bodhicitta onto the path of action, onto the path, and starting with dana paramita. So over these few days, we're going to be looking at, I hope, the depths of dana, not just, giving things, but really going quite deeply into, yes, let's call it the depths of dana, the depths of generosity. And it's still going to be mainly a retreat about meditation. So we'll be exploring different ways in which that open-hearted attitude is carried over in meditation and developed so that we then take it out into life. We don't just want to be open-hearted, we want to be open-handed as well. So we'll be looking at a number of different meditations and following some of the practices that Bhante talks about in a talk in his tantric series called Offerings and the Significance of Offerings and Self-Sacrifice. So that's looking at outer, inner and secret offerings, as well as he talks about the mandala offering and chur. So we're not going to be necessarily doing all those practices, but each of them gives us a deeper way into understanding what it would be like to live a life that was fully open-hearted and open-handed. And so we'll be exploring them from that point of view. And we've got this fantastic context of being together and practicing together. I love big order retreats. I think it's fantastic that we come together, and when we do, there's a tremendous kind of positive force that comes about. And I don't think it matters that we're in our different places around the world. I really felt on the last retreat, yeah, I'd be kind of talking to these faces in little boxes. But as soon as we started meditating together, as soon as I closed my eyes, apart from the fact that I couldn't hear anyone cough or shuffle around, I wouldn't have been able to tell whether we were all sitting together in the shrine room at Adhisthana, or whether we were all in our different places around the world. It's like we met on a different level. And yeah, one of the things that's really sort of struck me about what's happened with this whole COVID pandemic is that in some ways, it's been an opportunity. I've been thinking quite a lot recently about a talk that Bhante gave years and years ago on fidelity. And he was, in those days, he used to talk a lot about qualities of the true individual. So qualities of somebody who's really taken their practice a long way. And he'd keep adding more qualities that this person would have. And so on an order convention, he gave a talk about fidelity. And in the course of that talk, he said that separation is a real test of fidelity. And he was looking at fidelity in terms of fidelity to the Dharma, to what you really believe in, but also fidelity to people and to fidelity to beings. So one of the things that he was talking about is how so often we're sort of overpowered by the impressions that come in directly through the senses. And because of that, and because we're very identified with the physical body, it feels like when we're kind of isolated or separated, that feels like we're isolated and separated. Yeah. But his point was that when you move onto the level of the heart mind, actually we're not separated. And through practicing moving into the heart and bearing people in mind and bearing in mind what's really important to us, even when we're physically separated, we can not feel separated from others, not feel separated from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, not feel separated from one another. And I know that a lot of this year it's been really challenging for many, many people, but it is also an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to move on to that heart level where we feel our connection, where we still feel connected to the Dharma, where we still feel connected to one another, wherever we are in the world, even if we can't meet, still we have that connection. And it's something I felt very, very strongly on 3-year retreat. I felt very strong connections with people, very tangible connections. And it's something I feel very strongly when we gather in a situation like this. So even though we're maybe in our separate places, even though we may be following some of the sessions and recordings, still we could cultivate that sense that for these 6 days, we're all really meeting as order members. We're focusing together on the Dharma and on bodhicitta, and that we're really meeting through that. And certainly I've found other big order retreats that I've done, there's always been that very strong sense of coming together and it all being part of one practice. Okay, so don't want to say much more for now, other than, so we'll do some practice in a minute. Oh, maybe I do just want to say that there's a tremendous store of metta in the order as a whole, and it does get expressed in tremendous generosity. And in preparing for this retreat, I just had incidents kept coming to mind of times when I've been with order members and groups of order members where there's just been really beautiful sharing, giving, and in coming together on a retreat like this, it's like we also kind of generate a sort of force which makes it easier for us all to go into that open-hearted, open-handed way of living. Yeah, as I'm talking, I'm just remembering, I don't know, maybe 30 years ago, could have been, being on a men's order weekend at Padmaloka. And there were, I don't know what there would have been in those days, 60, 70 of us. And there was an order member there called Alia, whom some of you will remember. He came from Norfolk. He was a carpenter, and he'd done a lot of work helping out on the London Buddhist Centre when we were building that. Big, tall guy with bright red hair. And so he was on this order weekend, and somebody had brought back a whole lot of rupees from a trip to India and Nepal. So these rupees were there, And there was a rupa of Vajradhara. So this figure in what's traditionally called the Vajrahunkara mudra, yes, with Vajra and bell. And Alia was looking at the books and then looking at the rupas, and he saw this Vajradhara and he just sort of fell in love with it. Unfortunately, he really didn't have any money at all, so there was no way that he could get it. But yeah, it really spoke to him. But then a friend of his saw him kind of standing looking at this rupa, and they started talking about it. And the friend then sort of spread word around that, you know, Alia had really fallen in love with this rupa, and it really sort of meant something quite deep to him. And in the course of the weekend, people started collecting. And I think what moved me most was that there were points where order members who didn't know Alia at all, they weren't friends of his, would literally come up to him and take a banknote and put it in his top pocket. There you are. That's for the Vajradhara. And by the end of the weekend, Alia was literally kind of cradling this Vajradhara rupa, and so took it home with him. Yes, that's just a small, just something which came to mind then. But yeah, so in practicing together, we're drawing on a sort of momentum of all our practice. So let's do a bit of meditation together, just to start with, to feel into that sense of practicing together. And on the first day, I usually like to start really going back to basics. So we'll start with a little bit of grounding and getting ourselves settled, and then we'll set up a heart mandala. So we'll have a sense that we're all entering into a heart space together in which we're going to practice. So I still can't see you, but if you'd like to get yourselves comfortable for meditation, and as usual, we start by just giving ourselves space. Not expecting anything of ourselves. Nothing to do. Just aware experience. Now let's take a minute or so to bring awareness down through the body. Noticing different sensations. Until awareness, as it were, comes to rest on the ground. Feeling those sensations where the body meets the earth. Feeling into the actual sensations. Relaxing, letting go, giving our weight to the earth. And from there, from that solid base, letting the upper body rise up, opening towards the sky. So in our experience, that heavy lower body gives qualities of relaxation, and the upper body opening gives us a feel for awareness. There's an alertness there, a presence. Let's move between those two. Moving between relaxation and awareness. So we're gradually blending those qualities. So there's an overall feeling of aware relaxation, relaxed awareness. With that relaxed awareness, becoming aware of the body with its sensations and feelings. Letting them all come and go in this field of relaxed awareness as best we can. The awareness allows the sensations and feelings to be clearly known. And the relaxation means that we don't push and pull at the sensations and feelings. No need to react to them. They arise, they're present, they transform into the next experience. And this relaxed awareness isn't cold, letting it be as kindly as possible, as warm as possible. There's a warm, welcoming space for the sensations and feelings, whatever they are. So the feeling is of welcoming what arises, caring for what's here, and then letting it freely go on its way, transform into the next experience. Now let's widen out from our immediate experience. Let's just be aware of all of us meditating together, all of us with our different physical bodies, slightly different sensations and feelings. But all doing what we can to relax and be aware, and care for this moment of experience. So it's as if we're all giving our energy and our awareness to a common practice. So to take this a little further, we're going to create a retreat mandala, a heart mandala, a bodhicitta mandala. And when we're all on retreat in the same physical space, we dedicate the place using the dedication ceremony. And as part of that, we do create a sense of a mandala. So we're going to do the same thing, except that our mandala won't be a physical space. It will be on a heart level, will be a coming together of hearts and minds, a meeting, could say a spiritual meeting. So let's start with a sense of openness and spaciousness. And let that become vast blue sky. So we're moving on to a heart level, an imaginal level. In which there are no physical limits, no boundaries, no separations. Just openness, just freedom. In this open, free heart space, we'll start by creating the circles of protection. So I'll recite the verses from the dedication ceremony, and we can imagine 3 great circles appearing in the blue sky around us. Around this mandala, this sacred spot, may the lotus petals of purity open. And around us in the sky, we can feel, we can sense, can maybe see these soft, open lotuses. Whose qualities protect us, protect our heart mind. Around this mandala, this sacred spot, may the Vajra wall of determination extend. Again, we can have a felt sense, a feeling, maybe see the great Vajra wall, protecting us with its qualities. Around this mandala, this sacred spot, may the flames that transmute samsara into nirvana arise. So we sense beyond the lotuses and the Vajra wall, great ring of wisdom flames. Maybe we see them. Maybe we feel their heat. Maybe we hear their crackling, dancing. So they protect us with their qualities. And within these three circles is the heart mandala, the bodhicitta mandala, the place within which we're practicing on this heart level, however it looks to us. But it would be appropriate if it looked beautiful. We're all seated together within this heart space. You can sense, feel, maybe see others on the retreat around us. All practicing for ourselves, for one another, and for the good of the world. And in the center of the mandala are all the qualities of awakening. All the love, all the freedom, all the wisdom. All the energy and skillful means. All the endless qualities. However they're embodied for us. It can be in the Buddha or Yidam. It could be Avalokiteshvara holding the wish-fulfilling jewel of the bodhicitta. Whatever appears, having the sense that all the qualities of all the awakened ones are all embodied in that figure or those figures. So we're in the presence of awakening. So for a minute or two, let's just sit in this situation, protected by the three circles, in this heart place. Meditating together, all part of one practice. in the presence of enlightenment, in a space that's filled with love and compassion, filled with wisdom, filled with whatever qualities we need. And now, as we come to the end of the meditation, there's no particular need to dissolve anything away, and just let it all be on that deep heart level, so we can come back to it. Once again, relaxing, nothing to do. Gently and gradually bringing awareness fully into the body. Making the wish that the benefits of the practice are shared with all beings, especially all those who feel themselves isolated and separate. May they all be happy. May they all be free. So now we'll have a 20-minute break. So that's till 27 minutes past the hour, wherever you are. See you then. So welcome back, those of you who are still. I can still only see a few of you, and quite a few of those are empty rooms. So I won't start yet. It's interesting teaching when basically I can hardly see any of you. Reminds me of 1985. I was leading the men's ordination course, and people came on the course and they didn't know for certain that they'd be ordained. And how we did it that year was that I stood up in front of everybody one morning and announced that Bante had decided and the team had recommended. And so, yes, everyone was going to be ordained and everyone was delighted. But made a video of the course and I wasn't going to tip him off. So he came to me and said, well, that's a crucial part of
Vessantara, it's Vijay here. You're cutting out and your sound is going and your screen is freezing.
Yeah, I've lost you altogether. And I think we should turn our videos off.
We should turn our videos off.
That helps the connections.
Not if it's Vessantara's where the problem is.
Hi, everyone. If too many people are talking, it's quite difficult to hear each other. So I've messaged Vessantara just to let him know that there's no sound and internet. If we just wait for a couple of minutes, hopefully we can get him back on, okay?
So I think I just dropped out for a minute or two. If this keeps happening, I might have to do some essential travel for work and do this from Adhisthana. Vijayamala did a retreat for about 70 people for Tara Loka recently from here, and that was fine. So, but we're having trouble this morning. So hopefully you can see and hear me. And before the break, I was talking about Bante and his talk on fidelity and how we can move onto the heart level rather than being so identified with the body and the senses. And when we do that, we discover that our sense of separation from others is mind created. It needn't be there. And we can really meet. It's a bit like Pingya in the Sutta Nipata. His physical body isn't up for going to see the Buddha, but he never feels separate from him. He always has the Buddha in his heart, and he feels deeply connected with him. So we've got about half an hour left. So I want to say a little bit more about the theme of the retreat and then do another short meditation. So the retreat can be summed up in a quote that you were sent from Bante, where he talks about Walt Whitman's lines, including "When I give myself." And They come from a poem called Song of Myself. It's a very long poem. But there's these few little lines which go, "Behold, I do not give lectures or a little charity. When I give myself." And you can imagine that Bhante, who was somebody who gave many, many lectures over many years, could be quite struck by those lines. And they really do encapsulate something anyway. So they're quite a strong little few lines. That word behold is quite a word in English. It's a word you find in the Bible quite a lot, where something extraordinary is happening. Behold the Lamb of God. So it has that sense of, now here you're seeing a vision of something that's really quite extraordinary, which you're really being invited to see and to look at. I do not give lectures, so I don't just talk about things, or a little charity. I don't just kind of reach in my pocket and hand out some things. When I give myself. So Bhante sums that up as really that's what the Bodhisattva is doing. They give themselves all the time. They give themselves to life, knowing that they're really part of life. They're not separate from life. And so they fully give themselves. But it's interesting to watch, and I'd invite you really to notice as we're going into the retreat, when we're talking about giving, whether it's giving possessions or giving ourselves, just to notice all those parts of ourselves that are inspired and all those responses as well, because they're likely to be there, unless we're a long way down the path. And the thing is that the tendency is that we feel, yes, I'm a good Buddhist, so I will put energy into the part of me that feels like giving, and I will ignore or push away those resistances and those parts that are not behind it. And that isn't usually the best way to go. The best thing to do often is to really listen and fully take in the parts of ourselves that are objecting to the Dharma, the parts of ourselves that aren't convinced, apart from anything else, because they often have the wisdom of past experience in them. So yes, in one way it sounds great, when I give myself. But then we start to think about times in our lives where we have given ourselves and it didn't turn out very well. We gave ourselves and we ended up feeling exploited, or we gave ourselves and we felt betrayed, or we gave ourselves but we felt a bit stupid. We gave ourselves and we felt exposed. We gave ourselves and felt embarrassed. So rather than just kind of pushing all those things on one side and saying, well, that's all just resistance, we need to kind of notice them, and we can sort out what is helpful about those things, what's useful experience, where they're attempting to protect us from something, and then whether they actually need to protect us or not. So we integrate all those things. We bring them into the dialogue. We come into relation with them so that we arrive at a point where we are confident that when we give ourselves, but we give ourselves in the right way, and all of ourselves is behind it, because now we can see, yes, and I'm not giving myself in a way that didn't work or won't work. I'm giving myself in a way that is really fulfilling and satisfying. I'm giving myself in a way that's, this is what my life is about. So just notice all those little voices and slight kind of uneasinesses in the body, in the heart, and don't discount them. Just really explore them. See what they want to say what their experience is. Yeah, and let's also remember the times where we gave ourselves to something, some situation, some person, and it was brilliant. Yeah, it was really fulfilling. It was what we wanted to do. And when we fully give ourselves to something in a skillful way, then there are no hindrances present, actually. There's no doubt. There's no restlessness and anxiety because all our energy is involved. And there's no sloth and torpor because we're really engaged. There's no ill will. There's no desire for sense experience because, yes, we're fully happily doing this. I think for me, it's quite a lot of what the Dakini symbolizes is that sort of total action, that total engagement with life, that total giving of oneself to life as part of life. So we'll be exploring over the next days in different ways, and a lot in meditation, giving and generosity. And one of the, in a way, very good things about exploring it in meditation is that in meditation, you can imagine giving away all kinds of things. And then when you come out of meditation, they're still there. You haven't actually kind of given them up. So in that sense, it's not a total action, but it does mean that we can fully explore generosity without kind of practical considerations. We can give ourselves fully. So if we're offering things to the Buddhas, we can offer and offer and offer and give and give and give and fully experience what it's like to be completely open-hearted and to absolutely lay everything out at the feet of the Buddha without having to think about, oh, no, is this appropriate? Can I do this? How will I pay the rent if I'm that generous, or whatever it might be? None of that applies. So we can feel full on what it's like to have an open and generous heart. Okay, so I think we'll finish the morning with a little bit more meditation. Again, it'll be quite simple. Just exploring a little bit what it means to be giving ourselves. When I give myself. So again, let's find a good meditation posture. Savoring the sense of having space and time, nothing to do. Time to fully experience these moments of our life. body, our current main center of experience is. It might be in the head, behind the eyes, might be in the heart center. Wherever it is, allowing it to gently sink, float down. Fully giving our weight to the earth. Letting the spine unfold, sense of spaciousness. Really giving attention to the body. Whatever aspect of our experience of the body would appreciate our attention, we give it our awareness with as much kindness as possible. Now out of all the mass of sensations and feelings, becoming aware particularly of those that are associated with the breathing. And as best we can, relaxing and giving ourselves to the breath. Giving ourselves to the in and out flow. Really entering the stream of the breath. as much as possible, just totally aware breathing with nothing left over. Now widening out awareness to include all the bodily sensations, feeling how the whole body is breathing or affected by the breathing. Now relaxing any kind of effort. Just sitting, nothing to do.